We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, waters, and knowledge for the places where we gather to collaborate and strengthen communities. In our work, we recognise the importance of country, not just as a place, but how it maintains community, family, kin, law, and language. We pay our respects to elders past and present. I now will introduce to you Mark GORRIE, who is the Senior Director of Norton Lifelock, APAC, and he'll be speaking to us today about Norton 360 Advanced, including identity theft insurance. And when I say including, that's included in the software package. Mark, over to you.
Thank you. And okay, so yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, Alex for reaching out. A good opportunity to give everyone a bit of an update of what's happening with Norton, because we have got some new product that it's coming out at the moment. Most people know Norton. We've been around for a number of years, where we've hit 30 odd years here in Australia. A lot has changed over the years, the evolution of what is the Norton products, way back to the early Peter Norton versions, the antivirus there. I'm sure a lot remember those early ones, to the likes of internet security, the first editions of Norton 360. We expanded into more devices, so Norton 360 multi-device. Most recently, we've had Norton 360 as a standard, deluxe, and premium versions. And now, obviously, we're moving on to the next evolution again. Essentially, what's driving a lot of this at the moment is what we call our cyber safety platform. So what's had to happen, like the threat environment has changed. It changed a lot. I actually started in Symantec, which is Norton 20 years ago. And the kind of attacks we used to see back then are a lot different to what we see now. Volume, there's a lot of attacks out there. A lot of it's organized crime, state sponsored as well. So there is a lot of activity that we still see. Just to give you a gauge of, the level of activity that we see out there in the March quarter, just within Australia. So the 3 months of March quarter in Australia, just within our Norton customers, we blocked 37.1 million attacks. So that just gives you the scale of activity that we still see that's happening these days. But the cyber safety platform was about evolving our protection capability beyond just purely device protection to including online privacy. Privacy has become an issue. We had our parental controls, so the home and family component, and identity was the other piece. And so this is what we've been working on delivering. So we mapped out this strategy a number of years ago, and we've been working towards this. And up until this point, we obviously, our heritage is the device protection. We'd introduced privacy tools like VPN. We had the parental controls. Identity was really the last piece for us to deliver. And so obviously that's a lot of what's been happening more recently. And things have evolved here in this region as well. Just to give you an idea, these are some stats from the Australian Institute of Criminology about the scale of identity crime here in Australia. So it is a big issue. It's a big drain on our economy. Goes beyond just the individual victims, but also law enforcement to help, chase some of these businesses. So there is a big cost to our economy here. And it's a big problem for a lot of people losing money through identity theft. One of the biggest issues, and you see it there, the time that's involved to repair from an identity theft attack. On average, we're seeing 34 hours to fix what's happened. So a lot of people are time poor, and so that's a big issue in itself. Ultimately, where identity theft comes from, I'm sure everyone has seen the level of scam activity that's going on here. So scams themselves can involve credential harvesting that people then use a lot of data sold on the dark web, which can then result in identity theft. So ScamWatch actually was only last week released their next report for the 2021 year. And again, the level of scam activity got bigger again, the level of losses got bigger again. And I'm sure everyone's continuing to see, the threats hitting their devices. Even in the last 12, 18 months, I'm sure people are seeing a lot more scam messages on there, like coming through as text messages now. That's another platform that we're seeing a lot of increased activity on. So scams themselves, continue to evolve and, like I say, can ultimately result in identity theft. I won't spend too much time there just because obviously I know I've only got 15 minutes, but how we're tackling identity theft. So you'll see the name of the company now. So, we were Symantec. We actually sold off the Symantec name, which was and left Norton, which was our consumer business. But the business is actually called Norton Lifelock. Lifelock was actually identity theft protection service in the US. No one really knows that name here, but if you've spent any time in the US, you may have come across LifeLock, which was very much focused on identity theft. So we acquired LifeLock about 5 years ago. Like I say, we'd sort of mapped out a strategy of where we needed to take protection for our consumers and where we could see the problems were going to evolve, and we could see that identity was going to become a bigger and bigger issue. So yeah, 5 years ago, we acquired LifeLock, who were the biggest in terms of identity theft protection. So they are part of the business. Now what we're starting to see is some of those LifeLock features and technology actually coming into the market here now to really start addressing the identity theft element that we're seeing now. So how are we going to tackle identity theft? We don't want this to be reactive only. So we do want to be proactive to try and help people to avoid identity theft. How we do that is in detection. And with identity theft, what we're looking to detect now is a lot of the activity that we see ultimately comes from the dark web. Typically, it's not very common for someone to write a threat, capture the data, ultimately use it themselves. There's a real economy that goes on. So people write attacks or develop phishing kits. People buy those, people harvest data, and then they post that data onto the dark web. Other people then buy that data and then ultimately use it to some form of cybercrime from the data that they've acquired. So what we're trying to do is actually find that data on the dark web. So if we find your data, we want to tell you that we found it, what it is that we found, so that you can start taking action. So, if certain accounts that you use online, so that you have an opportunity to change your passwords or switch on two-factor authentication, or if we found your credit card circulating on the dark web, that you can approach your bank or card issuer to get a new credit card issued. Just some of those things that you can do to take action if we have found your data on the dark web. So we are looking for that. What you'll see also in the products now is social media monitoring. So where, again, we start to see account takeovers, so people access your social media account, which then could target your friends and network to lure them into threats. So we're trying to pick up things like where there's been account takeovers or there's malicious links in your feeds within your social. So that's the kind of detection that we're doing around identity. If you are unfortunate enough to have suffered an attack where someone has stolen your identity, has used it, it might be through, they've set up a loan account in your name, taken out money. They may have taken out a phone, they've got a phone plan, put it into your name. Anything like this can happen. So, when people are using your identity. So if you have been a victim of identity theft, so we have dedicated restoration agents. So these aren't our normal support help desk people. If you identify that you are a victim of identity theft, they would open up a case and hand you over to our dedicated restoration agents, and they would do a restoration process. Now, these can take weeks, months, cases that we see. But that agent will work with you through the whole process. So if you've suffered loss here in Australia, You know, they'll help you get the Commonwealth Victims Certificate up and running, you know, contact credit agencies to see what's happened to your credit, and they'll work through the whole process with you. So yeah, it's very much a assisted service right through. And the thing is, what we see and what we've seen in the US for many years, because LifeLock has been around for a number of years, if someone has been a victim of identity theft, unfortunately, because when you think about your identity, you know, your name, your address, your passport number, driver's license, these things rarely ever change. So if you have been a victim of identity theft, quite often it happens again and again. And so we have members in the US who regularly, you know, year on year suffer some form of identity theft just because their data has been circulating. And like I say, their details don't change. And so they regularly get impacted again. With our restoration, so if you have been a victim and you've worked with one of our restoration agents, you essentially have that agent for life then. So they know your case, they've worked with you before. So if you do suffer another incident of identity theft, you would work again with the same agent. So it's a very hands-on assisted service, which is really great. It's just something totally different, and it's a big part of the value that what LifeLock offers in the US, which we're now bringing here. So beyond restoration, and the agents themselves have a very high success rate of resolving the issues associated with identity theft. So whether, you know, it's getting your credit account cleared of any false activity there, whether it's recovering money through banks or card issuers, you know, getting your documents reissued, so they can basically fix a lot of the things that happen. If through the whole process, if that you have suffered some level of loss that can't be recovered in any way, there's an insurance component here, so that if you have suffered loss, say that there was a loan account that was set up that you lost money through, that you could get reimbursement for that. If you've had to, for whatever reason, engage legal assistance to address issues with identity theft, well, then obviously the legal expenses would be covered as well. Plus, there's some other miscellaneous charges, whether, you know, you've had to get multiple credit reports issued, so you've got costs associated with that, or if you had to get your passport reissued, any costs associated with rectifying identity theft, you can get some coverage through the insurance component. So that's how we're tackling identity theft.
And just Mark, just wanted to note that the insurance amount is up to $58,000. So it's a substantial amount that you can draw from or claim against if needed.
Yeah, there is limits within. So 58,000 is the total level of coverage. It is broken down. There's limits within that. So the financial losses, or what they call obligation to pay. So if you're, because someone's used your identity, you've had to pay back services that you didn't sign up for. So you get $25,000 worth of coverage on that. The legal coverage is $25,000. There's some lost wages, that was $5,000, and the miscellaneous was $3,000. So combined, it's $58,000. So how does this look like in terms of product that we're bringing to market? So we do have a standalone identity product, and that is called Norton Identity Advisor Plus. So that's not our traditional antivirus firewall. This is purely just the identity features that you get in this product. So what you're getting with this is the dark web monitoring, the social media monitoring, the restoration support if you need to contact our restoration agents, the insurance, and there's another element, stolen wallet assist. So if you've lost your wallet, had your wallet stolen, our agents can also help in terms of you know, the cards that you've lost in there, like Medicare, your driver's license, they can help obviously in that process as well. So that is the identity standalone product that is now available. And in terms of our next edition of our cyber safety product, the Norton 360 range. So Norton 360 Advanced is the new product that is in the process of coming out now. It is, you will find it available. The likes of Officeworks have already got it on range, and others will be following soon. So what you're getting in this product now is, this is the full like I say, that cyber safety strategy, bringing all those elements. So the device protection, so you'll still get Windows, Mac, Android, iOS protection. So it's the web protection, that's obviously the malware protection, ransomware, etc. The VPN, so where the VPN runs multi-platform as well. So this is very much about protecting your privacy online. So for any reason you're connecting on open Wi-Fi networks, we want to ensure that your data that you're passing through there is encrypted. So if there's anyone eavesdropping on that particular network, that they can't actually see what you're doing and the data that you're transmitting online. We've got the cloud storage. So this is your ability to back up your data offsite. Just another layer of protection in terms of ransomware protection, that you've got your most important data is backed up elsewhere. Parental controls, the password manager, obviously password, having strong passwords, unique passwords on all your accounts is a key element of, good online hygiene. So the password manager helps with that. The safe cam, so obviously we don't want people taking over your webcam on your device. So we've got protection to monitor for anything that's trying to connect to your webcam. That dark web monitoring, so we're scouring the dark web through forums and different, it's a minefield out there, the dark web. So yeah, we scour that, looking for data, and when we match it up. And there's multiple areas that we monitor. This is not just your email address. So we'll, like your physical home address, your bank accounts, your credit cards, insurance accounts. There's multiple fields that we will monitor for dark web monitoring. The social media monitoring, that restoration support, insurance, and obviously our product support. So you're getting that device protection, the privacy, identity, and the family protection all in one service here. So it is very comprehensive, this one. And you can get it in multiple device options as well.
And can I just ask, it mentions that it includes Identity Advisor Plus. Does that include the stolen wallet feature?
Yes, it does. So all the features that are in the Norton Identity Advisor Plus, you'll get in Norton 360 Advanced. So it's really, Norton 360 Advanced is really like Norton 360 Premium now, with Identity Advisor Plus added in.
And if you're an existing Norton 360 user and it's not yet time for you to upgrade to the newest version, I mean, can you cross-grade and keep all the days that you still have? Or if you buy Norton Identity Advisor Plus, does that come with the insurance component, or is that only a feature of Norton 360 Advanced?
No, that like I say, the two are essentially the same. So you either get in Norton 360 Advanced, and we'll go out to existing customers and give them the option if they want to upgrade, if they want the identity protection. So they'll see that option. So we've started to reach out to customers if there's interest to move across to that now. So people will get the option to do that. And normally when it's time to renew, you'll see the option available there as well. And it'll outline what are the features that are available if people want to move on to the identity protection.
If you do get Norton Identity Advisor Plus by itself, does that include the insurance?
Yes, it does. Yeah. In terms of identity, there's no difference between Identity Advisor Plus and Norton 360 Advanced. Like I say, it's really, we've taken the Identity Advisor Plus and added it into Norton 360, the whole lot. So in terms of identity, there is no difference. The only thing that's, if you are an existing Norton 360 Premium customer now, or even Norton 360 Deluxe, you have access to dark web monitoring. So we already added dark web monitoring to the Norton 360 service a little while ago to start alerting people to that. Now we've added obviously a lot more to that in terms of the restoration capability, the insurance component. So that's all been added now. All right, I know I'm running out of time here. So this was just my last slide. This is just a quick look at the interface. So we want to make this simple, easy to use. So everything's in one. These are not multiple, you don't have an antivirus subscription and a VPN subscription and an Identity Advisor Plus subscription. It's all in one, and it's all integrated to make it simple. So when you go in and look at the Norton interface now, this is what you see. So you see You've got the device security, so that'll allow you to go and look at the Windows security. A recent feature that's come out, which is the software updater. So obviously one of the important things about keeping yourself safe is to remove vulnerabilities to the software that you're using, whether it's the browser you use, the operating system. So we'll actually check all the software that's on your device now and alert you if there's packages that need to be updated to ensure that you got the latest updates and ensure that any security issues are being patched. So the software update is in there now. The identity theft protection is purely the dark web monitoring, the social media monitoring. And also if you happen to have a restoration case active, you'll see all that in there. The VPN, the cloud backup, the password manager. So yeah, you see all that all in that one interface to make it simple and make sure it all sort of works together. So yeah, that is what is Norton 360 Advanced now. So that's the new one, and yeah, it's available now.
And I'll just note that the Norton 360 5-user license version is $257 at Officeworks. So that's one location that's already selling it. I don't think it's on your Norton site yet, but presumably it will be very soon.
The Norton Identity Advisor Plus is up on the website at the moment. But yes, you'll start to see the advanced product appear in other retail accounts as well.
Wonderful. Are there any questions?
Thank you so much, Mark. It's obviously an all-inclusive product. And what is fantastic as far as I can see is having a partner to ease that sudden awful stress, that pit of the stomach feeling when you know that something's gone wrong. And having Norton in your background as a support is just amazing. Thank you so much for coming and for your presentation. I'll just open it up for a moment or two if any of the members here have got a question that they want to pose to you, Mark.
Yes, I do, if I could, please.
Yeah.
Julie. I've just opened up my Norton account and I've got Norton 360 Premier. What is that in relation to this one?
That would be, yeah, is it the 360 Premium or is it an older one again?
It's probably an older one because to be honest, I used to I had ran a business in Sydney, photography business, and I would have nothing but Norton all the time. And then the last year or so, I've been told by my computer guys, I don't need it anymore. I've got a Mac and I've got Windows 10. Oh, you don't need it anymore. So I haven't, it's sitting there unactivated. I've just realized, oh, this is still on my old computers. So now I'm all confused.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I get asked regularly, like, do you really need like virus protection these days? And like I say, just in Australia, just within our Norton customers in the March quarter, we blocked 37.1 million attacks. So it just gives you an idea of the scale of activity that's happening. And a lot of it's to do with the scams. Like I say, and what's different is people don't just live on their PC. I'm sure that you maybe have a tablet or you have your phone. We're agnostic to the platform. So we'll offer protection.
My other question, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it work on the phone?
Yeah, what we see, a lot of the blocks that we do were people clicking on that SMS message and going into that web link.
Guilty. I say, don't click. And what did I do the other night? I clicked on something and said, oh, what did I do that for?
Yes. So we're seeing a lot of blocks to those links through text messages. So that's, people are using their phones more and more for email and web. And so we're blocking the links on those. And yeah, like we obviously still see a lot of activity on Macs. As much as the perception is there's a lot less than Windows, but there's still a lot of attacks, a lot of ransomware attacks that we see tackling Macs as well. So yeah, we still offer protection for Mac because we're seeing the threat activity there still.
And the
Is
current
there
version
anyone else having a question?
I was just going to say the current version that the previous speaker was using didn't have the VPN, wouldn't have had as much cloud backup, wouldn't have had any of the identity theft protection, and the VPN you can use on any of your devices. So yeah, it's an all-in-one package. I mean, it redefines all-in-one.
Yeah, it is.
I just need to check whether this Norton 360 Premier that I do have is an old version. So if that were the case, how would I go to upgrade that to this current one?
Yeah, when it's active, yeah, because we will always check whether there's new, because that's all these features are there for a certain reason. So if we know that you've got an older version, we will normally flag and say, look, there's a newer version available. Sometimes, like some of those, we will upgrade for free, where there's just certain features. So some of the things like the software updater, you'll just see that appear, because that's a basic feature that everyone should have. So certain things will appear just as additional features, but then if, like, especially with identity now, if you want to upgrade to that, you'll get asked whether you want to update for that.
All right. Well, I might, don't want to take up time, so I might contact Norton anyway and just have a talk to somebody and see.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
I'm at.
sure.
And also log into your account.
Yeah,
I'm in my account. Yeah.
yeah. Chat's a good option through the support in there, because one thing I need to call out, people need to be really careful about tech support scams. All the big providers, whether it's Microsoft, Apple, and we're the same, we get targeted regularly by scammers who do tech support scams. So we hear people calling our support going, I spoke to you guys yesterday and you installed something on my machine and charged me $500 for it. It's like, that wasn't us. Our support, just remember, our support is 100% free. So if anyone's asking you to pay for Norton support, it's likely a scam. So, and the reason I call that out is people go and search for Norton support, and sometimes the scammers, they'll even buy advertising space in search to get people to click on that. And that's how people are getting caught out. So just be really careful about making sure you are on the Norton support. Our brand protection team every day getting takedowns of scammers that are trying to do tech support scams.
Thank you, Mark. That's wonderful. Okay. Well, it was lovely to have you. Thank you so much for coming at short notice.
And
Thanks
look,
for that. I appreciate it.
Just before you go, I've got Mark is giving away a copy of Norton 360. I've got the list of the 12 people, and I'm not going to call you up by name, but I can see the 12 in front of me. So I'm just going to ask Siri, pick a random number between 1 and 12.
It's 12.
12. So the last person on the list is Sandra and Barry Keane.
Oh my!
So you guys are the winners. We'll organize. Mark will send me the key, and I will then email it to you.
So Sandra and Barry, I hope you really enjoy that.
Thank you very much.
I know they will.
Thank you very much. We were on mute.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Yeah, Alex, I'll send that through to you now, so you've got that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your time to have me on board today.
Bye, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
I want to move on now to connecting up. This is not to be confused with Be Connected. It's got nothing to do with Be Connected. Connecting Up is an organization. I've got their website up here so you can have a look at it. What we do, software and services at the fraction of a retail cost, free or heavily discounted online learning, heavily discounted computers and IT software, and a technology conference. So here's what they actually do. By recycling computer equipment, they are saving all that from landfill. So they've saved 190 tons of e-waste from going to landfill by offering it to not-for-profit user groups around the country, such as yourselves. What you have to do here is sign up. And when you sign up, they will want verification that you are a not-for-profit organization. So they will want to see your rules. It won't necessarily in your rules say we are not-for-profit, but what it will say is that you do not give money that you've earned out to the members. They can't earn any money. So that's what will actually be in your rules. Now, if I just go over to my mail, I can actually show you the sort of thing that they will send to us. So this is a connecting up email that came out on the 29th of June. And what they're offering here is technology, donations, discounts. There are links here. If you're looking for software, you can go to these places and get discounts. And here is a list of everything that's on offer. So there's lots and lots of things. They've got software. You see there, Acrobat Pro 2020, instead of paying $610, you would be paying $87. Also, there are other different types of software. So we use Zoom, and through Zoom you can get a 1-year subscription with one host, and it's a reduced price. Actually, it works out better if you want more than one. There's antivirus and online security software. There's Norton Lifelock there, which instead of $114, you pay $17. So you can see that there you've got a fantastic overview of what you can actually get. The restriction is that per club, it's one item per 12 months, I believe. So not all the members of your organisation can go off and order a computer and a phone and some software. You have to decide amongst yourselves what you're going to order for the good and for the use of your particular user group. So that's also important to consider. The club that I belong to in Melbourne has been a member of Connecting Up for many years, and ASCCA is also a member, but I would urge each club to take up their own membership. I gather it's free. I haven't done it for so long, I can't actually remember, but if there is a cost, it would be minimal. Somebody wanted to say something.
Yes, Susan, sorry, Julie. Well, I've known about them for quite a long time, because with you, the Chamber of Commerce, when we wanted to get our Gmail account, we had to get a token. And we got the token from there, and then you can get your Gmail business account for free because they supply you with a token.
Anybody else want to make a comment?
Yes, I do, Susan. Thanks.
Jennifer.
Yes, they have been in operation for an awful long time, and ASCCA is a member. And if a club would like to access some equipment, software, whatever, and they don't qualify in their own right, they can contact ASCCA, and the arrangements can be made to auspice the order. And I think if you find that it's so for the software, it's so many licenses a year, not just like you can get multiple licenses, multi-licenses for one type of software.
One product. Yeah.
A lot of CRCs in Western Australia qualify in their own right, and apart from the fact that they're all incorporated and not for profit. But the deciding factor was that they had ICTE status, which is income tax exempt status. So if clubs can get that, you're in like Flynn.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Is there any other comment or question? Yes, Sandra.
Computer Powers Newcastle has taken advantage of the software
in the past.
In the past, yes. So we've got those. We've had those. I think that was about all. We didn't worry about the hardware.
Okay, good. And we'll move right on because we're running out of time. I want to give everybody a chance to speak. If I can hand over to Jenny now to tell us about or Alex, either of them, to tell us about the conference update, please.
Sure. Well, the short version is that the conference organisation is proceeding apace. We've arranged to have the same conference provider as last year, who did a fabulous job. We have Natika also working behind the scenes to concierge the event. We have a number of the speakers already locked in. There's more to come. I've got to decide this year whether I talk to Cronus or Norton to sponsor our security segment. Norton, with its new insurance, which can be very, very handy for anybody of any age, but certainly seniors who may be more targeted by scammers, to have this peace of mind. It would be great to be able to get somebody like, well, to get Norton as a sponsor. So I'm definitely chasing that up. And we have another meeting coming up in about a week's time, and there's a lot of things to be done between now and then. But conference organization is proceeding apace, and with the theme being you had to have fun and stay safe online. We're going to be making sure we hit all the high points, have all the top speakers, and put on another great conference for 2022.
Do you want to continue, Alex, with your tech tips about the iPhone turning 15?
Sure, yeah. Well,
Atari turning 50.
Yeah, on June 27, 1972, Atari was launched, and they came out with the Pong video game, which was, of course, that ping pong. You had the two bats, and you had the ball going between the two of them. And if you think about how basic that was sort of the beginnings of graphics. They had these little electronic sounds. It was a form of electronic music. And that, of course, led to the Atari Vcs, the video game system, that was famous for having the two little joysticks, and it had, the asteroids and a whole stack of different games. And in fact, there was a bit of a glut of games in the early 80s. The system was so popular, and Atari did not have a Nintendo seal of quality type of program. And so there was a lot of this third-party stuff, and they had the big ET game to come out with the movie, and it was programmed in 6 weeks, and it was a big disaster. They had to put into landfill hundreds of thousands of unsold cartridges. And in fact, a few years ago, it was famously known that all those cartridges were buried in landfill. And there was a documentary where they went and dug it all up and found the cartridges. They were sitting there in the landfill, buried quite deeply. And so in '83, the market for video games crashed in the US, and it wasn't until the Super Mario or the Nintendo system came out, I think in '85, that it kicked off again, and it had a next level of technology. And of course, today we have moved through Commodore 64s and PCs and Amigas and Macs and all the different Xboxes and PlayStations, and the sort of games you can have today. I mean, you used to, have to see those little paddles on a 2D screen. Now you can be a tennis player in a virtual reality headset, with the controller in your hand. You could be sitting in the cockpit of an X-Wing starfighter and sitting on one of these swivel chairs and swiveling it around and looking at everything. It's the sort of the dreams that I had as a kid have all come true. And for children today, it is, they take it all for granted. And it's a little bit like when the children see those videos, you see these videos online where they show young kids what a tape player is and what a cassette is. And they're sort of amazed that, you couldn't just skip to a song, and you'd only have 1 hour of music and you had to flip it around. And they wonder how we were so primitive. And yet with all our technological advancement, we're still in the black and white era of technology, but we've never been more advanced. And even Atari, the logo famously appeared in the Blade Runner movie, which showed how it still had such it was capturing the zeitgeist at that time. And the makers of the movie should have put the Apple logo, because Apple is today the $3 trillion company that is ruling the consumer electronics and computing space. And Apple also had a birthday. Now, the iPhone was announced in January 2007, but it didn't go on sale until June 29, 2007. And by the end of July, I had one. And by September 11, I had jailbroken it. So with the very first available jailbreak, there was a big competition to be able to use a Telstra SIM card until the iPhone 3G came out in 2008. And in fact, 2008 was the year that the first Android phone came out. So there's a lot of milestones, and smartphones. Yeah, smartphones and tablets are ubiquitous. That world of having a device in your pocket. Bill Gates wanted to put a PC on every desktop. Steve Jobs put a smartphone, something more capable than most PCs, in every pocket. And before the iPhone, there were lipstick phones. There were phones that had round buttons to sort of mimic the old dials, but you pushed buttons. Nokia had a phone that you could play games on, but you had to put it sideways to your ear, like a taco. It was very strange. And after, it was called the Game, not the Game Gear, but it had some name, called Engage. I had little cartridges you could pop in. And after the iPhone, every phone has been a square, except for the fact that we now, of course, have these folding smartphones from Samsung. And in fact, Samsung is about to launch in August their 4th generation of their folding flip phones and their folding tablet phones, where you can fold it out into a tablet. And that crease that's in the screen, it should be either eliminated or much more imperceptible. At the moment, you can put your finger there, you can actually feel it. but we will come to a stage where the phones will fold completely, flat, and when they unfold, you won't know that there's a join there. Just you won't see it. So, look, we've come a long way, but the need for technological education and awareness and training and all the rest remains. I come across so many people who use their iPhones like it was launched in 2007 and use few, if any, of the modern ways of entering data, voice transcription, cursors on the screen, cut, copy and paste, all the things that are there. And it's been a real pleasure. I mean, for all of you, I was born in 74, but most of you were there, or at least you were alive when Pong was launched. And that last 50 years has been an incredible journey of prosperity and technological advancement. And we're all very lucky to be alive at this point in history. So with that, I'll wrap up my little session.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alex, you're always amazing, and tell us about things that we might not have realised. Thank you. It's a bit late in the day, but I really do want the clubs represented here to share some of their knowledge. A couple of things have happened recently, and I'd like you to focus first of all on what you thought of the registration process. And before you get in there and stick the boot in, I want to tell you that we've done this because it gives you the experience and the knowledge and the confidence to register for anywhere else. It's quite common now, if you want to join a webinar or a video session where you have to participate, that you have to register first. So this is all about getting club members to understand the process and work through it in a friendly environment. So can I start with Warren? Were you happy to go through the registration process?
Do you mean me?
I mean you, Ralph. Yes, please.
Sorry. I don't know about what the registration is. What are you talking about?
You didn't do it. Okay. Sandra and Barry, did you register? You did. I saw you. Yes.
Yes, I did that this morning. Yeah.
And how did you feel that went? Was that okay with you?
I had my password manager running, so it auto-filled a lot of the fields straight in, so it was quick and simple.
Yeah, good. Peter S.
Yeah, that was pretty painless.
Julie?
Don't know what you're talking about either.
Okay, Diane? Just unmute yourself, Diane.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a problem. I just followed the instructions in the email.
Yeah, Joan?
I don't
John?
know whether anybody. Oh, hang on, I haven't got me.
Can hear you.
We can hear you, John.
Oh, can you? Oh,
Yes.
okay. I don't know if anybody from Epping has registered or not, because we don't ever hear from them.
From
They're-
Epping.
From Epping, yeah. They
Mm.
don't keep in contact with the members. And so it's pretty much.
Do you want me to follow that up, John?
So, Joan, did you get the invitation email to Zoom personally?
Yes, yes. And I think that's just because of my long contact with ASCCA
Yeah.
that I still get that.
Mm.
I don't.
Once we've got you on the list, we never get rid of you.
Oh, I know.
We're like a dog with a bone,
There's
John.
no escaping.
No,
Jeanette, were you happy with the registration process? Jeanette?
Push the space bar to speak.
She's not muted.
Whilst Jeanette is sorting her microphone out, the registration process is simple. In the ASCCA e-news, there's a link under the Club Forum section. You click it, it comes up to a Zoom page. It says ASCCA's Club Forum, and it simply asks you to put in your name and email address. I can't remember what else, but it's pretty much that. And then you click register, and then you receive an email back, And in that email back, it's got a thing where you can add it to your calendar. And that's always very handy because if you click on that, it adds it to whatever your standard calendar is, Google, Apple Calendar, Windows Calendar, and then you can see it in your list and you hopefully will never miss it.
Jeanette, are you
That's
able
what I
to
did. I
speak
just
to
clicked
us?
on.
Thank you, Julie. Jeanette,
Yes, hello. Can you hear me now?
we can, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I've got the builders next door. That's why it's a problem. I found it quite easy to use, and as a coincidence, 2 of the members of the club were in the room when I did it, so I used it as a demonstration for them as
Oh,
well.
excellent. Very good. But they're not with you today?
No, not today.
No. Russell, are you
Good on
there?
you, Jeanette.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear. Thank you. What about the registration process?
I don't know. I'm not that involved. I'm here pretty much as an observer, and I'm interested in possibly joining a Melbourne group if there is one.
Right, Russell, if you could put your phone number in the chat, I'll call you shortly
Okay, thank you.
about Melbourne ones. You've only got 2 choices. You're either Windows or your Mac. So in a newsletter that a club sent to me, Manly Computer Pals, it said that they were hiring a bus and taking their members off to another club to collaborate on computer things, which I thought was amazing. So that's my next question of you. Ralph, do you have communication with other clubs close to you or that are technically aligned or anything of that sort?
Yes, I do. I've been, but it's been for all the wrong reason.
How can it be wrong?
Well, I was talking with you earlier, and all the communications that we've had is when I first came into the job, I contacted all the local computer pals to see what everybody else was doing. Because we were just about to come out of the COVID lockdown. And I found that one by one, those around me were in the process of winding up their activities. And it was a pretty daunting process, really. I didn't like to benefit, but they had to get rid of their assets to another not-for-profit organisation. When I told them that we were increasing our membership, they were gobsmacked. So all of the, the surrounding clubs to us have been diminishing members or in fact closing.
So you've benefited and you've used the stuff that you got?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was amazing.
How has your membership improved? What did you do to make the membership improve?
Well,
apart from taking members that were now orphans from other clubs.
Yes, that's right. We started off with around about 140 members as at February.
That's really good.
Well, we have since increased by about 61 to the end of June. And it's my understanding from our membership officer that we will have something like 81 renewals already. And we haven't had our AGM, and traditionally our confirmation and payments come in August.
Right,
So,
yes.
I am not feeling cock-a-hoop, let me tell you. It's really quite a very nervous time. I'm just waiting to see it all happen. But the bottom line is, I really would like to see that those memberships and the premiums for the, what do you call it, the membership payments anyway, come in before I'll feel too confident about it.
I'm sure they will. Ralph, thank you for sharing. What about Newcastle? Barry and Sandra, have you collaborated with other clubs on any level for any reason?
We haven't recently, but before we had collaborated through forums down in Sydney. We did reach out the other day because someone said that West Lakes was still operating, but we know that West Lakes is no longer with ASCCA. So we reached out to them to see how they are operating, just to get an idea of what's happening over there.
Are they in the Newcastle area?
Yes,
West Lake Macquarie.
West Lake Macquarie, on the western side of Lake Macquarie, which we're Newcastle, but there's no one else here. Anything. So we knew Newcastle, Lake Macquarie, Maitland, you know, people are coming up from the Central Coast.
Cessnock up into
Cessnock, yeah.
Nelson Bay way.
Yeah, they're
Is your membership increasing?
Not a great deal. Barry's looking for the numbers. It's
we finished the 2022 year with 188 members, and this financial year we've so far got 85 renewed.
And that's just happening now. So there will be lots more. However, we have an equally, I think it's 160 or something like that, Be Connected people who do not have to be members of our club that come along regularly. And we're about to say to them, you've enjoyed
yes
all the free help, and some of them do say, you know, does this cost? And we say, no, it is free because that's the way the grants are operated. So we can now say you have been for 6 months, or, you know, you're welcome to still come along to that. But if you'd like to support the club, then membership is open now for the new year, and we're happy to accept them. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, brilliant. Peter S.
We had 70, I was just going to say to you, we had our first morning tea since COVID, with guest speakers on Monday, and we had 74 people there at Club Lambton. So it was amazing. Yeah.
That was going to be my next question, so you've preempted that one. Peter S., what about collaboration with other clubs? Have you managed to do any of that?
Well, I'm sort of with Ralph Warren.
Yes.
We're in the same club. But my main interest now is trying to get the Office 365 10 free licenses, and I'm going through that process at the moment for not-for-profits.
Yes.
So I don't know whether the other clubs have looked at that process, but through connecting up, we're entitled to those 10 off Microsoft 365, they call it now.
Yes.
And interestingly, each license can be put on 5 PCs. So I'm thinking it's
huge.
You know, I don't know if I mean, as long as you on each PC is the same user account for those 5 PCs, it's licensed for that. So I'm just in the process now of trying to get that licensing. So it'll be interesting. On their website, it says $0 owing, but with the authentication process, I've just got a few issues there because we were authenticated at one stage, but for some reason it's dropped off the web, and it looks like I might have to go through that same process again for registering for not-for-profits. But
yes. Well, it's worth doing, isn't it? Obviously.
Yeah. So I mean, we obviously have the Office 2013, and that's getting too long now. It's not being supported.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get these 10 free licenses, which is in the process, as I said.
Yeah, working on it. Good. John, are you a member of a club, or how does this affect you? Have you collaborated with others?
Yeah. Look, I've had a lot to do with the clubs through ASCCA, and I did get, in a roundabout way, a few weeks ago, an email passed on to me from, I think from the Epping website, which I don't have access to now because I'm not on the committee. I'm a life member. And it was somehow, I think Newcastle were one of the clubs. There were several clubs that were looking for some sort of collaboration. I think Northern Beaches was another one, I think, or Manly, one of them, wanting to, and Taramara, wanting to collaborate with creative writing, which our creative writing club is still running somehow. We're not meeting in a club. We've given up on, trying to get any sense out of that. So we're now meeting in homes, and we're quite interested in still in the creative writing. I think it's a great thing, and I was a visitor at the Newcastle Club for their 10th anniversary, and I had been invited to go, but I hadn't been told I was to be expected to speak. And just as I got there, I was told, yes, you're going to speak. And so I just stood up and spoke about creative writing and how wonderful it was and what a great thing it was. And hey, presto, Newcastle grabbed hold of that idea, and they've had a very successful creative writing group, and I hope it's still going. Is it still going?
It certainly is, Joan. In fact, most of you know that we had to give up our club room. So each Monday we meet at Club Lambton, which is the old Lambton Bowling Club in Lambton Park. We have that venue for the whole day. And we've combined the 3 creative groups in the afternoon for the moment, while the competition inspiration needs to be pushed.
Multimedia bit.
The multimedia. So there's the digital photography, the creative writing, and the memory pals, which is genealogy. And they come in and meet, and they have a wonderful time, and the atmosphere, we're the only people there in the club.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere is great.
Well, that's wonderful. That's really fantastic. But at the time, I didn't do anything about following up with these clubs because I didn't quite know what to do. And I sort of thought, well, I should contact ASCCA really about this. But I'm very keen for any clubs who've got a creative writing group to continue because it's a really, really good thing, as you've just said. But at the time I was a bit busy because I'd had a couple of falls and I had a few other problems, and so I didn't follow it through at the time. But
so Barry and Sandy just mentioned the competitions.
Yes.
And this is a catalyst for the clubs to have different projects, new projects or ongoing projects where it involves teaching and it involves expanding what people know already into an area that they're not comfortable with.
Well,
so the whole purpose of a competition, to my way of thinking, is just to get the clubs motivated to do something, to give you something that you have to head for, a challenge, to talk amongst each other, to share ideas, and to get those ideas off at an appropriate time into the ASCCA competitions. That's great. Well, we are now at 14:03, and I believe that means that we've actually run out of time. So unless someone else has got something they're really, really itching to tell us, and now's your opportunity.
Can I just say hello to my old friend Ralph? I
see you there.
Yes, we are childhood friends, and
oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
and
good.
I didn't know. It sounds like you've sort of got involved there at
I'm afraid so, Joan.
Castle
I've
Hills.
come across some friends who used to know Eric.
Right.
Catch up with you sometime.
Right. Okay. But it's quite funny how you meet up with people, isn't it? Even on Zoom.
Yes. It's a small world.
It is a small world.
Thanks, Susan.
Okay. And
Okay.
I just wanted to add that Sandra, if you check your Yahoo email address, your key has arrived.
Wow, thank you.
Super. That's
I'll
something
just have
else to
a
look forward to.
quick comment.
Hello, Susan.
And it's good reward for all the work that you do, for sure.
We do work hard, I must say.
You do, yeah.
You know how it goes behind the scenes.
Remember, 1 month from today, on the first Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock is the next of these sessions. No, Jenny's shaking her head.
It's the second Friday. The first Friday is a board meeting.
Oh,
And the
yes.
teacher made an error on the email, and I picked her up on it, but it was after it was sent out. And she said, well, if there was anyone else who picked it up, maybe we'll have to give them a prize. But nobody did, so no prizes.
You'd be lucky to get a prize. I thank you all so much for bothering to be here. Please tell your friends about what we're trying to do to introduce the board members to you so that you know who we are. You know, it's awful if you belong to an organization and you don't know who these people are that you see, you know, whatever are they doing in the cloud? What do they do for us? We want you to know that you can talk to us. You can come and write us an email, phone, whatever, with whatever your problem is. We will try to help.